Chen said. So now, we've started to study lunar intelligence. Smile and say, you said research is research. Chen's voice stiffened. It's just a joke. Okay, let's start the research. Tran Pepper always likes to take the initiative. You have to let her understand. Now we have to listen to AI. Chen Zhao also saw the purpose of Zhang Yi. But now you don't want to cause discord in the team. So I decided to hold it down. 4 people get together. Open up the intelligence that Lan Tan Than sent them. Start carefully researching. He turned on the satellite phone. Image presentation. Data of 13 people in the menstrual group. A few hours later, 5 people looked closely at one turn. Documents and pictures. I had experience watching once. This time they can be quick. Go through the unimportant parts to observe the key points needed. In 5 people, Peng Lai is responsible for recording the minutes of the meeting. Write down the important points. After watching it, Trong said, it's done. Then we should discuss our opinions. That's what the captain said. We have very little video of the scene, and we haven't even collected 10 pieces of information yet about the capabilities of key individuals. But there's one thing that's very clear. They're capable of capturing 10 very powerful pieces of information. When they can get the information of 10 mutant teams, join the battle. First, we have to be careful. We may be facing the same situation. Talk about here. Zhangji suddenly felt funny in his heart. If in the group of lunar eclipses, there really is someone with such power, I'm afraid no mutant wants to face that guy. He continues. But this is just a guess. We don't know. How did they get 10 of our information? The more I don't know information that they collect 10 how detailed. So careful preparation is still essential. Take a deep breath. Just like the first battle, they can always let their mutants, dealing with the most dangerous opponents. So it's possible. We're going to face someone I'm extremely difficult to deal with. This is also the reason why the neighborhood is asking for them. We divide it into 3 teams and form a team with mutants with different abilities. Just like that, we can make it up to you for the shortcomings of his ability. Chen Zhao listened attentively to the occasional nod. I agree with the point of the translation. In addition, there are some of these people have superior fighting ability than others. He points to Daiku, a former sumo wrestler. At least, his ability is equivalent to robbery, deputy chief of investigation. In the image data, Daiku actually defeated 2 teams of mutants alone. Even Zhang Yi, you also have to use yourself the strong fighting power. According to his estimates, the power of this person, it's even comparable to the adult 100. Zhang Yi pointed at Nobunaga again. Nobunaga, a master swordsman of Rose. It's even called the modern holy sword. Usually, people like to call it that. However, this guy's ability must have a certain weight. We're not subjective. When it comes to Nobunaga, the eyebrows of the browser stand up. In her cold eyes, it's a proud strategy. He is a martial artist of the United States. You have your own pride. On the path of martial arts, of course, you're not going to wear a pink charm. Say. If possible, I want to fight him. Curious to look at the salary. There's a bit of skepticism in both eyes. Because as far as they know, salary approval is just a subordinate of the translation program. She dared to say such words. According to Nobunaga, using only one knife, we've wiped out a mutant organization, and even captured the Thing Long alive. On the battlefield, it's always much more difficult to capture than to destroy. Salary approval, feel Tukir skeptical. But she didn't want to explain. You're not good at talking. And for a martial artist, the best way to prove your ability, there's only one word, is fighting. The epidemic continues to speak. There are 3 people out there. We don't know their true capabilities. He pointed at the rest of the people on the screen. All these people have to be careful. Is not subjective. Hawaiian is the captain of the team. In pink, fetishism of demotion beating superiors. If he doesn't have enough power, there's no way these aggressive werewolves be the captain. Zhang Yi's eyes, it also unconsciously becomes serious. If even the subordinates had such powerful abilities. So what's his level of ability? The first battle. I can't fathom his abilities. Then next, the second battle. That's when Zhang and the others to face this unknown. Chen Zhao realized Zhang Yi's worry. But she calmly said that she encountered this level of enemy. The only thing we can do is to finish my job. Don't forget either. The focus of the action this time is the general. The main force is the angel team. It's not us. She looked at Zhang Yi with burning eyes. We can basically understand that. What is the general operations plan? Translation and salary review. I can't help but look at you a few more times. The corner of the mouth is slightly bent. There is a little interest in me. You and Chen Zhao only knew after the end of the world. But because of the right personalities, they became best friends. The abilities of both complement each other. It's like the relationship between the two. They always lead each other. Step by step rise to the top in the king's city. Chen Zhao's mind is something you are also proud of. Smile and spread out your hand. Oh, come on. Chen Zhao says you are wrong to analyze. The moon shows no power in the first battle. And that's why we've got to divide the force into 2 levels of action. Considering that the enemy is capable of obtaining 10 pieces of information, it's very powerful. So when you're at war with us, they'll apply the optimal formation. The phenomenon of inhibition among mutants, very serious. It's like water can clearly put out a fire. If we lose the previous opportunity in this area, it's very easy for us to break up. Chen Zhao continued to say, but we have a home field advantage. That's the number. Our 3 teams are the first line of battle. The meaning of our existence is to force the moon to act. They have to show their power first. Although they can depend on our squad to choose the right response, to attack us. But we still have a second layer of protection. That's the team of angels. Just find the members of the angel team. It's a skill that's not like us. It can even complement us, follow us. So we'll be able to perfectly neutralize the enemy's tactics. Chen Zhao rubbed his chin for a few seconds and laughed. In simple terms, it's like playing drag. Hammer how much? It's understandable to say that, isn't it? More. Even if the enemy knows our plans, they don't have a good way to break it. Because we don't feel that in terms of actual confrontation, they are better than us. The last words of Chen Zhao make Zhang Yi constantly nod. He very much agrees with Chen's point of view. Yes, I think so too. The potentialities that come from this pink art, even though they're at the delta level. But they don't make too much difference compared to Trong Yip and Tran Tu Zhao. Most of them are normal dysfunctional people. I've never been trained in combat. Maybe they have a power gap compared to people with disabilities. Participate in the first battle. However, all 10 people who were called this time were men, extracting them from the outskirts of the Great Zone. Jiang Nam. Sealing pepper. Very fun. When Zhang Yi agreed with his view, you confidently say, "That's why. As long as we fight this way, avoid letting the enemy take advantage of the information gap. In order to fight, we will have a very high rate of victory." Lean back on the sofa. The second clip is next to it and says, "If so, this mission, the opposite is simple. After all, my forte is to be a decoy. Time for the enemy. As long as he doesn't die on his own. In the scope of what is known, there's still no one who can kill him." The glass is bowing to take notes. Suddenly, he raised his head, mixed with astonished eyes. Somewhat contemptuous look, Zhang Yi. "But our goal is to. It's not just about being bait for people. Don't forget that. Just be able to succeed in this mission. We have a chance to win the whole city." "Why do you frown?" Then Sao Peng Glass said in amazement, "The resources of Linhai City are abundant. Just be able to capture it. Take even a part of the land. It's enough for our power. Increase strength." Chen agreed. Although the Union was established by the Jiang Nam Grand Household, it has banned forces in other areas, fighting each other. But he must also understand that it's impossible to ban this. The Jiang Nam area, although very powerful, no one dared to touch it. But their power, they can't control the entire area. So you can see, large and small forces in the Jiangnan area make sure that war will later become a normal thing. It just keeps getting stronger. We don't fall into a passive state. That makes sense with a nod. But I'm not interested. Smiling glasses. You are also a leader of the sea. This kind of psychology should be careful, or they will lose their house later. You can't be too quiet. Zhang Yi laughed again. I see that there is nothing wrong with fate. Sealing Pepper frowned. She and Peng looked at each other. I feel like things are starting to get tough. Their goal is to create in the action this time, thereby winning the test section for the task, opened by the Jiangnam area, including the territory of the city of Linhai. But now, in their team, there were 2 people who didn't support their approach. Then later, how can they fight the other teams? You'll obviously be in a weak position in terms of force. Chen took a deep breath. Please think carefully about this. Linhai is right next to Tianhai. If you can take the land and resources there, it is the most appropriate for you. The government doesn't want to continue talking about this. He said, I forgot what I said at the beginning. In this 5 team, I am the captain. You must obey my orders. If there is disagreement later, then anyone can leave. We will not stop. Chen's voice suddenly stopped. That's right. This is what they agreed on. Even though she has a lot of ideas in her heart. But if the translation is 0, there's nothing she can do about it. Chen Zhao said helplessly. You are a stranger. If the changes are other changes, those psychic people would gladly agree. The corners of his mouth swelled with a deep smile. He didn't say anything more about this. Just knock on the table. Go ahead. There's still a lot to learn. For example, targeting. The power of each person in the lunar eclipse organization. Think of coping strategies. Right at the time of Zhang Yi and others are busy. Intelligence study of the lunar organization. Then, a news from the intelligence department of the Combat Command Center. It has been transferred to the hands of God. When I saw this news, Zhu himself tightened you. Because it says clearly that the satellite system was monitored. The real Nuyet organization has begun to leave the city of Linhai, heading directly to the northwest of Jiangnin City. Zhu himself gripped his hands with a serious expression. I can't wait any longer. They really want to move into the Middle East. The loathsome lunatics. The level of aggression of the lunar organization, it's gone beyond expectations. You really think that, when a small encounter, it is possible to despise the Jiangnan area? In the eyes of the main handle flashed Tia. Right, baby, like a knife. Hot air burst out. Jiangnin City. It is located in the northwest of Linhai City and Tianhai City. It's a second-class city. To have a lunar eclipse sitting in cars, stolen from the border. So we're going straight to the center of the city. Jiangnin. Jiangnin Square, one of the busiest areas of the city. Jiangnin is also a famous commercial district. Before, this place was once run by the city's largest paranoid organization, Jiangnin Occupied. But now, on the road that the members of the lunar eclipse organization go through, there are hundreds of bodies everywhere. Bright red plague dyed a whole street red. Before it can flow, it quickly freezes into ice. Halloween plugged 2 hands into vest pocket. Just go whistling leisurely. The first, we've got to find somewhere with lots of supplies. Let's take a break here and get some supplies. And then we're going inland. The next station seems to be a city called the Mausoleum. Then yes. Zingujichiro look at the device in hand. The screen shows a complete map. It's even clear to every road. After the apocalyptic blizzard hit, most of the roads don't make sense anymore. This is a pre-apocalyptic map. Used at the present time, it can only be seen as a reference. Jinguji Seisiro looked at him with contempt. It's not going to go as smoothly as we imagined. The previous battle, obviously, the people who fought, they're not all special purpose teams of the Jiangnam regional headquarters. It's from an outside organization. After we've wiped them out, we've also sent a signal, but received no response from the Jiangnan area. He breathed out a white smoke, in the eyes carrying some resentment. This proves that those bastards will still fight us. To the end. Hawaii heard Jinguji complaining, the corners of his mouth with a relaxed smile. Jinguji don't always be so pessimistic. Now all development, it's all under our control. Zinguji Kisiro, this former stockbroker, is an extremely pessimistic person. From the first day we met, he always whispering negative news in Thai Hawaiian. But also thanks he organized the lunar eclipse, it could grow to the scale it is today. As well as many times escape from the encirclement of the exile organization in the eastern part of the country. That the pessimist Jingugi say, Isiro. He is also a persistent representative of the Six. After the end of the world comes, he was sure that the entire Yihong Islands, after the Great Flood, the world will be drowned. If not for that reason, his careful nature, it's absolutely unacceptable. Howin's crazy landing plan. Howin spread to arms. Turn your back on everyone. Just one more battle at most. The male teeth will have to be completely understood. Our power is strong. To what extent? They will meekly give up their chastisement of us. I believe that among them, many smart people will understand this. After all, it is now for them. We are not the only enemy. Halloween says squint your eyes. It's like when we're in the East. When it was a private organization. Horizontal lunar eclipse along the eastern coast. There's been a conflict with the most powerful local organization. Out and so on. As the holders of power high of the rose. For the most part are all figures from old government agencies. Before acting, the first thing they consider is their own interests. If you want to destroy the moon, the price is too expensive, likely to make their entire organization severely impaired. This will allow other forces to take their place. That's why the fecal matter is abandoned. Jing Kuji looked disdainful. But this is not suspicion. People in the Jiangnan area have the same mind as the leaders of the cesspool. How do you know? Hawaii speaks implicitly all over the world. High in the sky like them. It's not all an SAO type of person. People look at you arguing with a smile on your face. Obviously, I'm used to such everyday scenes. They stepped on the corpse of the Nin Tooth City organization. Walked down the street that once flowed. Xingguji is pushing the glasses now. To prevent the assault of the Jiangnan area, there needs to be a full-scale purge. In this area, he raised his head. In his eyes flashed a cold ray like a poisonous snake. In the area, range VI 5 kilometers around Jiangnan Square. Don't miss a life. A day quickly passed by. Everybody back to the War Center meeting room. A little preparation is to go to the battlefield. To fight with the moon. And others walked into the meeting room. Chen Zi Zhao and Peng Li also sat not far from them. Zhang Yi's eyes flashed by other suburban mutants. Can see. They also had a discussion yesterday. Not long after, Zhu Zeng and Deng, the psychic, also went here. It's just today. Zhu's face was much more serious compared to yesterday. That's why Cho Trong and others. It doesn't feel right. After Zhu walked into the office, he didn't ask first about everyone's preparation. But seriously tell people that people. I have some very bad news. I want to inform everyone here. Right this morning, the real moon has left the city of Linhai and went to the neighboring Jiangnan city. Just finished. Immediately, there's a guy banging on the table and getting up. What? That's the leader of the Nin Dental City Mutant Organization. Dance 10 Oriental. How is the situation in Jiangnan City now? The 10-year-old is extremely worried. His family and friends. All in Jiangnan City. That's based on the previous example of Linhai City. So once the moon goes somewhere, they will destroy the forces there. Chu told the dance 10 directions. Don't get excited first. We have notified the people in Jiangnan City. Tell them to hide. Absolutely must not conflict with the lunar eclipse. Now they have occupied Jiangnan Square. Organizations in that area, the external framework predicts it's all been erased. 10 ways to take a deep breath of peace. As you say it, you have to say it again. If his power is attacked, I'll definitely contact him. But thinking back, he couldn't be reassured. Because all you need is those violent bandits. Stay in Jiangnan City one day. His power will be in danger one day. Dance 10 directions, seriously said Marshal Zhou. I want to go back before a trip. To arrange the affairs within our power. Chu did not say anything. And Tan Than stepped forward. 10 things you think it is now. You can do whatever you want. Now, your most important job is to coordinate with the general department. Complete the lunar capture. There are 10 different faces, but we worry about them. Worrying is useless. The New York Times said, "Do you think? Only by the power of alone, you can destroy the moon." Dance 10 silent. Going there alone doesn't help. Zhu can interrupt. New city. He's also worried about his family and friends. It's very possible to understand. In the heart of the real dance must be warm. His eyes turn to the main Chu. Commander Chu. Chu himself explained, "I'm not in a hurry to eat. Those people just came to Jiangning City. The number is not much. It's not possible in a short time. It can destroy large organizations in Jiangning City. Today, we're going to call the Joint Strike Force to determine the action plan. Tomorrow morning, we will take action." About the big and small forces in Jiangning City, we have fully informed them all. Tell them to hide as soon as possible. Don't conflict with menstruation. You can rest assured about safety. In the heart of the dance, 10 directions slightly assured. Nod and sit down. Zhu looked at everyone and continued. The goal of these people is clear. Is to move to the Central Highlands. So we have to take our time. Destroy them as soon as possible. In the coastal area. Absolutely impossible. Let these hated werewolves. One step further. So now, let's have the last operational meeting. 13 teams nominated the captain as the representative. Let's talk a little bit about the results of your discussion. Zhu looked at the translation. Let's start your speech first. Everyone's eyes turned to the translation. Cough a cough and get up. Then I'll say a few words. Zhang Yi, summarize what our team discussed yesterday. Let everyone hear it. He hardly hides anything. Except for his ability. It has to do with winning or losing. Failure of the action. He emphasized. The most important thing is we have to understand the full power of the moon. Especially to find a way to break the path. Access to their information. In general, that's all we can say. When he finished, he sat down. Many people at the scene were thinking. Think about what Zhang Yi just said. Even the psychic Deng was leaning against his chin, looking thoughtful. Chu himself nodded in appreciation to Zhang Yi. The analytical program is correct. Our fight with prayer. The most important thing is information. Currently, we don't know the source of the enemy's information. That's why it's somewhat weaker. Chu's voice suddenly boomed. But in other ways, we have an absolute advantage. Whether it's about the amount of mutant power, or logistics support on duty at home. He clasped his hands, smiled confidently. The most important thing is we also have armed support from the region. People couldn't help but look at the main Chu. Dance 10 surprising directions uttered. You're going to use heavy weapons to locate and attack SAO.